stand by. In 3, 2, 1.
Reality. Are you living it?
You are a function of this total galaxy, bounded by the Milky Way, and that furthermore, this galaxy is a function of all other galaxies.
Our reality.
The show that will stretch your consciousness and awaken you to a world of unlimited possibilities. It's time to change the world. It's time for an awakening. It's time for Our Reality. Hosted by your emissary to planet Earth, Violeta.
Hello everyone and welcome to Our Reality, where every week we try to demystify the mystical reality we're living. And today we have a very, very special guest, Dr. Samir Osmanagich. He's a PhD, Bosnian-born, and currently Houston resident author, researcher, and businessman. He discovered an ancient pyramid complex in Visoko, Bosnia-Herzegovina, consisting to date of 11 artificial structures: the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, of the Moon, Bosnian Pyramid of Love, of the Dragon, the Temple of Mother Earth, and underground labyrinths, which we will discuss shortly. Dr. Osmanagich has traveled and researched all around the world, so we really are privileged to have him with us today. And on top of that, since he travels constantly, he's currently actually in Bosnia, and he's live at the location. So I would like to warmly extend my welcome to Dr. Sam Osmanagich. Welcome.
Hello, thanks Violeta. I'm very happy to be on the show.
Thank you. We're even more happy to have you on the show, especially with your extensive experience and research that you have done. You're world prominent. I would like to just start off and ask you, especially for the listeners that haven't heard about the Bosnian Pyramids yet, how you ended up discovering them and noticing them, and tell us a little bit more about this, if you would, please.
Of course. I've been researching pyramids and ancient civilizations for more than 35 years now. My PhD is in Mayan pyramids. However, I've been investigating them all around the planet. I realized that what they've been telling us in schools about the origin of man and civilizations and pyramids is wrong. Pyramids are not built only in Egypt and Mexico, but on all 6 continents. From China, Indonesia, Cambodia, Mauritius in the middle of the Indian Ocean, Gympie Pyramid in Australia, then the pyramids on Canary Islands, Sudan, 224 of them, Egypt, 155, 43 pyramids in Sicily, more than 300 of them in Peru, pyramids in Bolivia, more than 100,000 Mayan pyramids in the countries that we call today Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador, Belize, even pyramids on the U.S. soil. In the state of Illinois, Cahokia National Park is the home for more than 120 step pyramids. And in Europe, pyramids in Spain, Greece, Italy, and finally in Bosnia. So in in April of 2005, I first came to the Bosnian town of Visoko, about half an hour drive from the capital city of Sarajevo. I came to visit the local museum, but then I saw this, what everybody called a natural hill. However, even though it was covered by soil and vegetation, I could clearly see 4 sides, 4 triangular faces, obvious corners. I took a compass, and the compass showed me that those 4 sides perfectly match the cardinal points: east, west, north, and south. And this is how the pyramids were built. So in 2005, I obtained the permission as the individual physical person to do some preliminary research, geological core drilling, archaeological trenches, lab analysis. Everything I did was pointing to what would experts call anomalies. They were not supposed to be there. October 2005, I published a book about the discovery of the first European pyramids, and I had the press conference, announced the news that we do have pyramids in Europe, and after that, everything else is the history. It has become the most active archaeological site in the world.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. Absolutely, I get goosebumps just listening to it. It seems like we're rewriting history, and you're at the forefront of it. And just like you mentioned, the pyramids are all around the world. Do we know what function they have? Do we have any idea?
In archaeology, we have 5 questions: who, when, how, why, and what is this? In Bosnia, we know what is this. This is a huge pyramid complex. And as you mentioned, we have the biggest pyramids above the ground and a huge network of prehistorical underground tunnel network. The second question, who? So far, we don't have a hard proof who really built them, but we do know that they were more advanced civilization. And I will explain why. Question number 3, when? Well, first we did the petrological analysis of the soil above the pyramid, and we concluded it was between 12 and 15,000 years old. But once we started finding the organic materials, fossilized leaves, in between the concrete blocks that cover the pyramids, artificial concrete, we've done radiocarbon dating, and the age of the organic material, 29,200 years, plus minus 400 years, meaning we go back for 30,000 years. And if you remember, what they've been teaching us in schools is everything started with Sumerians 7,000 years back, Babylon, Akkad, Assyria, ancient Egypt, ancient India. But this is just the last cycle of humanity. Before this one, there was another one, which ended with a great catastrophe, the end of the last ice age, 12,000 years back. Then another one, 18,000, 30,000, 55, 75,000 years back. So we realized that what they are telling us, that history of humanity is the evolution, is also wrong. It is cycle after cycle after cycle. And Bosnian pyramids do belong to one of the previous cycles. So the question when, obviously, does require the change of the history books. And finally, to answer your question, what was the purpose? Archaeologists, geologists, anthropologists, historians cannot help us. We needed real scientists, experts in energy phenomena, physicists, electrical engineers, sound engineers, telecommunication engineers. And thanks to their measurements, we realized that through the top of the biggest pyramid in Bosnia, Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun, there was an energy beam, electrical in nature, 28 kilohertz, 13 feet diameter, which is continuous and focused. Mother Nature does not make hills with 4 sides, triangular faces, cover them in concrete with tunnels underneath, and energy beam like this. You have to have an energy machine. And then that was not the only energy phenomena, 28 kilohertz frequency of the electrical aspect, but also we have ultrasound, levitation frequency of the ultrasound. We have original Schumann resonance, which is 7.83 hertz. In our society today, this natural energy field of the planet has changed. Since 1990s, it went to somewhere between 12 and 15 hertz. So by not living in our energy field, we basically surround ourselves by stress. We are not in balance. You come to the Bosnian pyramids, you come to the Bosnian pyramid tunnels, still 7.83. All these energy phenomena, they do affect our energy fields, our auric field, our chakras, bringing them back to the balance. So we realized, hey, this energy actually affects our spirituality, but also the healing aspect. People come to the Bosnian pyramid tunnels if they have asthma or some respiratory problems. After one visit, they breathe so much better. They don't need air pumps no more. People with a high blood pressure, it gets normalized when you are exposed to the pyramid energy. People with a high sugar, high glucose in the blood also is getting to normal levels. So we realize that when it comes to the purpose, we need to forget bedtime stories about Egyptian pyramids being tombs for the pharaohs, even though not a single mummy has been discovered in Egyptian pyramids. Pyramids were not built for the dead people, kings or pharaohs. Pyramids have been built to last almost forever, to serve the communities. They were huge energy machines, and they work on different levels. First, communication device, but communication the vast cosmic distances. Second, to protect what is the most precious to us, our health. Number 3, we've been investigating water being exposed to the Bosnian Pyramid energy. This water, no viruses, no bacteria, but also it vibrates very high. It has a beautiful molecular structure, crystal-like structure. So the pyramid energy improves the molecular structure of the major liquid that we have in our life, improves food, improves our auric field, brings chakras back to balance, raise the immunity. So we've been proving for the first time in the pyramid science that pyramids are energy machines, so we are changing definitions there. So when we answer all those 5 questions, yes, there is a need to completely change our history books.
That I would agree with that, and it is absolutely fascinating. It makes me just want to jump over and go to Bosnia right now, honestly, because it seems like we need them. We need that, and as far as I understand, that there's a great demand, and you're working with other scientists all around the world. There's a great interest in the Bosnian pyramids, and also there is a park that you've established there, correct, where people can come?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you mentioned 2 things. Researchers from all over the world, they've been pouring to Bosnia. Now, when you have a huge discovery in any field, it can be music or corporate world or politics or science, there are always obstacles. There are always people who want to keep the status quo. It was the same in our case. As a matter of fact, the resistance of the cultural establishment, first in Bosnia, archaeologists, historians, geologists, they were writing petitions to Bosnian government to stop the research. European Archaeological Association was writing another petition, signed by leading professors from Germany, United Kingdom, Poland, United States, France. Everybody wanted to stop this research. Even the most influential Egyptologist, Dr. Zahi Hawass from Egypt, he was putting a lot of pressure. However, we have survived all this resistance and obstacles. And today it is the most positive oasis, not only in Bosnia, but in scientific world, in Europe. Every year we have hundreds of volunteers, professionals and non-professionals, different age, from 8 years to 84 years old, who come, who join the effort, who dig, who discover the oldest and the best quality concrete from the ancient times, who discovered prehistorical tunnels, who discover artifacts, who discover organic materials. We have a museum collections in Bosnia. Then we have dozens of experts from different fields. As early as 2006, we had some Egyptian experts like late Dr. Nabil Selim, triple PhD, who discovered pyramids in Egypt, claiming that the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is the biggest in the world. Egyptian geologist Dr. Ali Barakat, claiming that Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is a man-made pyramid. Double PhD J.J. Hertag from the US, the famous researcher of the Egyptian pyramids, also saying because of Bosnian pyramids, Egyptologists will need to change definition of the pyramids. We have famous professor from Russia, Dr. Konstantin Korotkov, who said that the Bosnian pyramid discovery is equaling the discovery of the Mayan pyramids. We have many other, especially independent researchers, who would come, do their analysis, study, measurements, dating, and contributing to the huge wealth of information from this project. In the last 15 years, we've had 6 international scientific conferences, 120 people confirming that we have the oldest pyramid complex. But again, the cultural establishment has very powerful tools. Wikipedia, National Geographic, they've been labeling us as a pseudo-archaeological project, pseudo-scientific, pseudo-historian, and so on. However, the truth is coming to the surface. It cannot be stopped. And the main reason, this is the most open project in the world. With all these volunteers, and in the last 10 years only, we have had 3,450 volunteers from 62 countries and 6 continents, with all of them writing on their blogs, YouTube, video channels, websites, and so on. We have big ambassadors telling the truth to the world.
Absolutely.
Now, yes, you asked me about the park. Violeta, 14 years ago, we started as the archaeological project, digging. We realized it was not enough. So we started applying other scientific disciplines, pedology, biology, paleontology, satellite screening, geothermal analysis, geophysical analysis, georadar analysis. But then that was not enough. So we added another aspect, energy aspects, with the physicists, engineers. But then that wasn't enough. This energy affects us. We added spiritual aspect, healing aspect. So we have 5 aspects. We have archaeology, science, energy, spirituality, healing. And really, when we think about the other sites in the world, Stonehenge in the UK, Karnak in France, Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, Egyptian pyramids, pyramids in Mexico, China, Peru, unfortunately, archaeologists have been guarding those sites jealously. And they cannot figure out what was the true purpose of those sites, and really, who built them, why, and when. Now, thanks to our approach, which is interdisciplinary approach, now we can get to the true purpose of those megalithic and pyramid sites around the world. And guess what? We have not stopped even there. In the last 3 years, we started purchasing neglected land, swamp, with a lot of trash around those archaeological sites. We purchased 55,000 square meters of land and transformed this land from neglected to the beautiful park, probably the most beautiful park in Southern Europe, which became energy park, recreational park, children park, spiritual park, park with the platforms for yoga, meditations, stone circles, megalithic circles, spiral botanical gardens, and so on. So we offer people a chance to come, to enjoy, to relax. Entrance to the park is for free, parking is for free, installations are for free. We want to bring the freedom back to the people. No rules, no strict laws around us. We live in a society that are telling us you can do this, you can do that. However, we want to, create such a beautiful oasis in the heart of Bosnia, which will tell people, hey, we need, this harmony with the nature. We need to make a balance between our physical and spiritual aspect, and we're giving it everything for free. In June, in September, during the summer solstice and fall equinox, we have festival and fair with the concerts, spiritual music, rock music, people coming from all over the world, from 35, 40 countries every year, having a blast, having the real fun in a nice and decent way. So I would say this project has become much more than archaeology or science. It is about the way of living, about the meditations, about the nutritionism, about the healthy stuff. So yes, this is an open community. People got touched by the pyramid energy, some of them 1 hour, some of them 1 week, some of them 3 months, some of them year after year, but it is an open community which can give us an option. Instead of society with the 5G mobile network, instead of so many rules, instead of the threats, instead of the control, manipulation by the governments, we offer another alternative.
I think that's absolutely beautiful, and it's right on time, because people around the world are feeling the Great Awakening, we call it, and we're constantly feeling the new surges of energy, just I wouldn't say in a negative way, bombarding the planet, but being sent onto the planet, upgrading our physical bodies, and of course, we are aware of this other shadow government that is basically trying to suppress our evolution, trying to suppress everything. And that's why when I read the brief description online and I saw pseudo, I just didn't even register it, because I thought they're lying again. Nothing is pseudo about him. He's one of the most informative and amazing researchers I've listened to, and I've listened to a lot of your interviews online. And the message that I like that you're really putting out there is this is ours. Come to Bosnia, do it with us. And Bosnia, I'm from Bosnia myself. It's a very hospitable country, and I would definitely recommend anyone to go and really partake in this part of history. And it's interesting that it's happening right as this great awakening, in humanity is actually underway, and people are feeling called to just, I guess, wake up with the pyramid. I'm not sure if the pyramid always streamed energy, or is it even increasing lately? What do you think?
Well, again, we try to combine the physical aspect with the spiritual aspect. When it comes to physical, we use scientific methodology. We've been doing measurements, and now we know that, for example, the tunnels where we can see two civilizations, one which built them, the second one who closed them 5,000 years back. As we go deeper, the energy parameters are getting stronger. For example, the concentration of negative ions, which are very beneficial to our health, is constantly on rise. From 5,000 per cubic centimeter, 10, 20, 50, 100,000. It is like, we are getting more pure, physically, mentally, spiritually, as we are getting closer to the pyramid. So I would say, yes, it seems that this energy level is rising, and I would say this whole project is affecting the rise of the global consciousness, and that's the point. We live in a society with many challenges. We mentioned 5G, there is a GMO food, there is so much manipulation and so many rules. So I think that this is going to be a great fight, and then we need to prevail. I mean, humans with 5G, they want to cut our spirituality off from our physical reality. They want to separate our physical from our spiritual senses. So we need to find our ways. And Violeta, when we were young and clever, we wanted to change the world. But as we are getting older and wiser, we want to change ourselves.
Correct.
Because by changing ourselves, we are going to show the example and influence all other people around us.
That is beautiful. I could not agree more. And I really hope a lot of people partake in this. And I've personally been to the Giza Plateau. And I do have a question. Do you show other pyramids around the world, or has it been researched whether they give out the same amount of energy or any type of energy?
Unfortunately, like I said, Egyptologists and archaeologists jealously guard all their sites. So you cannot come officially and do energy measurements because they disagree that the pyramids have anything to do with the energy machines. That's a problem. However, you can go and do some measurements like we did in Egypt with friends from Russia, Russian geophysicists. We've done measurements. Energy beam on the top of, let's say, a red pyramid in Dakhshur is 50 times stronger than at the base. So yes, there are more pyramids that's been energetically active. And back in December, I even did the measurements of the Khafre or Kefren, the second largest pyramids. It is still energetically active.
Amazing, absolutely amazing. We're definitely going to be taking a short break. Dr. Sam, it's just amazing talking to you, and I'm looking forward to asking you more questions. And as well, anyone who has a question, you can go ahead and call in 702-425-9230, and we'd be happy to. This is a unique opportunity. We'd be happy to ask and discuss any of the questions you may have. We'll be right back.
Necessary to planet Earth. The host of our reality, Violeta Vrankovic.
Welcome back to our reality. I am Violeta Vrankovic, and we're talking with Dr. Sam Osmanagich. Feel free to join the conversation anytime by connecting with me on chat, Twitter, or even calling into the show at 702-425-9230. Now, back to our amazing guest, and I say amazing because I'm truly impressed by all the work you're doing in this day and age of awakening, and I think a lot of people just want to come and want to partake in it. I personally know a lot of people that just need that little nudge to go. And I would like to ask you, how can one volunteer, and where can we find more information on it?
Actually, very easy. You see, I realize that archaeology is actually very conservative and close science. And, archaeological projects, 15 days a year, one archaeologist, 10, 15 diggers, that's it. And then you need to wait for the reports for 5 or 10 years. And they don't even tell you everything if it is something of great importance. We do everything different. In our case, the volunteerings from beginning of June, July, August, September, October, so 5 months a year. And then our workers, they actually work 12 months a year. And we even have some volunteers during the winter times. Now, they apply through our website, which is bosnianpyramid.org, bosnianpyramid.org, and there are all the info. There are 2 different programs. One is 2-week program, where we organize everything, accommodation in the town of Visoko, 3-star hotel. Then we have meals organized for them. Usually it is organic, homemade food, no GMO. Then we have local transportation, we have archaeologists, geologists, tools. On the weekends, we take people to different sites in Bosnia, showing them beauties of this small but really wonderful country. So this 2-week program is about 800 euros, which is less than $1,000. 2 weeks, less than $1,000. The second program is for those who've been coming year after year, and they can find their own accommodation. All they need to do is to show up at the archaeological site from 9 to 3 o'clock. We provide the lunch. The rest, they are free. If they want, they can sleep in tent or 5-star hotel, but we are very flexible. They simply need to show up during the weekdays at the site. So these are 2 programs, and the way we start, first day, we show them all the locations, we get them familiar with our sites, the pyramids, the tunnels, the tumulus, the park, and after that they start working with us. Last year we had the guy from New York City, 84 years old, so he's not the one digging or pushing the wheelbarrow, but what he does, he's helping, checking for the artifacts, something easier. So there is something for everyone. So this volunteering aspect is so interesting, because before you wanted to do something, you needed to be either professor of archaeology or student for the archaeology, and that was it. In our case, anyone can apply. Even kids, if they come with their parents, they can come, they can join, they can help us digging. Even the older persons, they can come. So I think this is the unique project in the world, and for a little bit of money, they are getting experiences that otherwise they would never get it. And then they are getting so many new friends. You come to one shift, it's usually between 20 and 50 people per shift. You can see people from so many countries, from Brazil, Peru, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Thailand, from China, from all European countries, literally from Germany, from Italy, from France, from Poland, from Russia, from Canada, from Mexico, from US. And this is really wonderful. And then, of course, people stay in touch afterwards through the Facebook and other social media. So this is something so new. And again, you come with the new, fresh ideas. Then they attack you. Archaeologists, they don't like that. They want to be serious and too serious. They want, to have elite science running those projects. But we do everything opposite, because we think that the cultural heritage belongs to all of us. One little example, Violeta. Under the Sphinx in Egypt, at the Giza Plateau, there are stories that there was an entrance under the left pawn of the Sphinx. In 1999, Zahi Hawass with his group, they were starting digging. During the daytime, they would cover the dig with the wooden pallets. In the evenings, they kept digging. It was said that they did find the entrance to the Hall of Records, to the Library of Atlantis, who probably built those pyramids at the Giza Plateau over 12,000 years back. But does the world know? No. Why? Because they think that those pyramids and the secrets belong to the Egyptian Supreme Council of Antiquities or British government. And that's wrong. It belongs to all of us. This is the cultural heritage of all of us. This is the knowledge that we should know about. That's why we said in Bosnia, there will be no secrets, no place for the elite science.
That's beautiful. You know, that is so beautiful. I cannot even express my joy upon you saying all this, because we really live in times where we feel misled by the media. We feel misled by science. There is so much out there on Facebook, on Twitter, where people are expressing themselves. And I think you're in tune with the times, and you're leaving an amazing legacy behind, because we need scientists like you to actually step up, and you're doing it. Step up and say, hey, this can be done better, this is not correct, and just go ahead and help people. And I assume one of the trips you would offer is to the massive stone spheres in Bosnia. Is that correct?
Yes, Bosnia is really the land of wonders. So we have pyramids, we have some megalithic sites, but also we have stone spheres, stone balls. Of course, the story about them started back in Costa Rica in 1940s, 1950s. When United Fruit Company was clearing the land in the jungle, in the delta of River Dikis, they found 398 beautifully shaped granite stone balls. And then it continued in western Mexico, near the town of Ahualco, then Easter Island, New Zealand, Turkey, Tunis, Croatia, Serbia, Albania. But in Bosnia, we discovered them on 20 different places. And by the way, we did discover the biggest stone ball on the planet, which is 37 tons, with a high content of iron. It seems that when they come in a higher concentration, and if they are located above energetically potent place, they can also amplify the energies. So I would say the stone balls in a higher concentration, they can be like a small power plant. Then the tumulus type of structures, which is conical, artificial hill, it also amplifies the energy. It's like a mid-sized power plant. But the big pyramids like Bosnian or Egyptian or Chinese or Mexican, they have a big power plant producing clean and free energy. The concept was different than ours. Of course, what we have a coal, dirt industry. We have oil and gas, limited resources. And again, dirt industry, chemical, petrochemical. We have nuclear power plants, which is rather dangerous. And it costs a lot of money. The ancients were smarter. They were using power of shapes, and the shape of the four-sided pyramid is the most powerful when it comes to our planet. They were locating them above energy-potent places, iron plates or iron ore, above underground water streams, because they produce negative ions, using a lot of quartz crystal to transform the energy from one form, electromagnetism, to another one, ultrasound, through the piezoelectrical effect. The ancients were smart, building those structures, and of course using elements of sacred geometry, the number pi, 3.14, the golden section, 1.618, equilateral triangle, hexagonal shapes, and they were getting the energy. So everything was different then. We have so much to learn from the ancients.
That's absolutely, absolutely wonderful. I always think about that quote that Nikola Tesla said, who's also from that area. Nikola Tesla said, we will start understanding everything more when we concentrate on frequency and vibration. And you've mentioned a lot of healing aspects coming from these pyramids, and it is based on frequency and vibration, isn't it?
Exactly right. Tesla, in 1899, built the famous Wardenclyffe Tower in the state of New York. He's done just a few experiments because of the lack of money, and J.P. Morgan didn't want to finance him anymore. But based on those few experiments, he wrote, I found ways to transport huge quantities of energies, thousands of horsepowers, between the two planets, regardless of their distance. And guess what? The frequency that he was using to transport the energy was 28 kilohertz, exactly the same frequency that we measure on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun. So, Nikola Tesla, 120 years ago, after unsuccessful and successful experiments, did discover the best transportation frequency in the universe, and the Bosnian pyramid builders knew about it 30,000 years back. And not only that, what we are discovering on the top of the Sun Pyramid is this electrical field, which goes anywhere from 4.5 meters or 13 feet in diameter all the way to 70 feet. And then again, getting narrow and wide and narrow and wide. According to the geophysicists and physicists and engineers, these are so-called torsion fields or scalar waves. What are the scalar waves? Well, the Russian theoretical physicists know that the best. The scalar waves move quicker than the speed of light. Well, they teach us in schools that based on Einstein's hypothesis, the biggest speed is the speed of light in the universe, 186,000 miles per second. However, it seems that there is even bigger speed, meaning that if you have such an energy being going through the top of the pyramid, potentially the pyramid becomes communication device because you can communicate between two far objects in the universe almost instantly. So this is the first very important purpose of pyramids, telling us that those ancient builders were much smarter and more advanced than us. And the second one, the one you mentioned, yes, the one you mentioned, the healing aspects. Now we have noticed many people who come to the tunnels, like I said, from the smaller stuff, like asthma, pains, sinus infections, high blood pressure, high sugar in the blood. They are getting, outside revitalized, all the parameters are coming to the normal values. Even some very serious diseases, which I just don't even want to mention, we can see such a huge improvement. So what's happening inside? Everything we do, we try to do it in a scientific way. So we've been doing measurements. In the tunnels, 3 pyramid energies, the best electromagnetic field, the best ultrasound frequency, 28 kilohertz, and the original Schumann resonance, 7.83. High concentration of negative ions. Negative ions clean our body from viruses, bacteria. In your studio, my home, it's about 100 negative ions per cubic centimeter. We go outside, you go to Las Vegas, I go to Sarajevo, 400. We go by the rivers, 1,500. We go in the mountains, in the forest, 3,000. You come to the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, 30,000, 40,000, 50,000 negative ions per cubic centimeter. It is a healing construction under the ground. And then, in those tunnels, no harmful cosmic radiations. And you and I, we are exposed to it living on the surface. In those tunnels, no natural radioactivity. And finally, 2 things that our technology has brought. One is Wi-Fi. It's a very bad frequency of 5G. And the second one, the cell phones. And again, today, in the most of the world, it is 4G. Actually, at the same time, we have 3G and 4G. Tomorrow, it will be 5G everywhere. 4 days ago, I was in Brisbane. They just built 400, cell phone towers. The whole city is under the siege of the 5G network. 5G, 5 giga, that's the frequency of the microwave, which is proven to cause the cancer. So this is our future. And guess what? You come to the Bosnian Pyramid tunnels, we don't have Wi-Fi. We don't have, a signal for our cell phones. So it's perfectly safe and secured area. You get inside for the first time in your life. The body does not have enemies. And the body cells can start doing their job. What is their job? To fix the problems in our body, to start the regeneration process, to start the self-healing process. So it is so exciting to be in Bosnia at this moment because we not change the history, distant history, but we do change our present and we offer some valuable options for the future.
That is absolutely amazing. I definitely am coming. I can't wait. I wanted to tell you, you're so right, because I live in Las Vegas. I live right on the Strip. And anyone who knows anything about Vegas will tell you that the energy on the Strip is very, very dense and very, very bad. It makes you almost feel sick. And we drive out, to the mountains to feel better, to be away from those vibrations. And still you have to come back and live in the cities and obviously deal with this all-pervading currently, I would say, force on planet Earth that is working against humans, and we're uncovering them more and more day by day, that are bringing that technology that actually interferes with our energetic systems, the normal bodily energetic systems, and makes us ill. And of course, through that, we start taking medication and we get even more ill a lot of times, and it's a vicious cycle. But I think just your call for liberation, basically, for coming out and just exploring new pathways is right on. And I would like to talk just a little more about the energy beam, because did I hear you right? Did you say Tesla was talking about being able to transfer energy from planet to planet?
Exactly.
Wow.
Through his Wardenclyffe Tower. Now, Tesla was aware that besides what we call Hertzian waves, which are regular waves, there is something that he called non-Hertzian waves. They are invisible, they are subtle, they are soft, but that energy is there. It was very hard to measure it for him. But then he did have very good ideas. The scalar waves that we measure on the top of the Bosnian Pyramid of the Sun is exactly what Tesla was talking about. So the thing with the scalar waves, they travel, it seems, 10 billion times quicker than the speed of light. Actually, they don't travel. They are like the waves. They simply move like the waves. And what we have today when it comes to transportation or traveling, you go from point A to point B, and it takes time. You know how they've been teaching us in schools that in universe about 75 or 85% is just the empty space, the vacuum, there is nothing there. Well, they teach us wrong. There is always something there. There is always some nano-electrical charges, nano-electrical particles. So you can move, you can transport the energy, you can transport the information. Energy equals information. But this is completely new view, and I would say our project 12 or 14 years ago, our biggest skeptics were in the field of archaeology or history. Today it's not only that. Today we have very influential and powerful lobbies, the most powerful lobbies, who realize, well, this Bosnian pyramid project has become very unpleasant. For example, pharmaceutical industry. Instead of getting the pills, pill after pill after pill, and you're not getting better. All of a sudden you have pyramid energy, which is not harmful, no side effects. It helps you to regenerate, which is the quickest and the healthiest way, to become healthy again. Then we have this energy thing. Instead of, oil and gas, energy lobby, now all of a sudden we have clean and free energy. And then we have this movement of the energy and transportation of the information throughout the universe. Well, intelligence agencies would like to see what's going on there. So I am aware that even though we've been producing so much as far as the scientific argumentation, it won't be any easier for us. However, the only way to stay and to affect everyone globally is to be the most open project where we share the information, where people come and then they distribute those information, because something really beautiful is happening here.
Yeah, I completely agree. I've been to the pyramids, only two. I've been to the Chichen Itza and the Giza Plateau, and of course, they're treated as something old and outdated and just there to view and nothing else. And you come as a tourist, and you're in awe with it. But
I know. You come to Mexico, they start telling you these stories about sacrificing the enemies. However, 2009, the tourist from El Salvador was in Chichen Itza. He was filming his family, his two little kids, in front of the Kukulkan pyramid, the most impressive over there. And he also filmed an energy beam going through the top of that pyramid. That was 2009. After that, the Mexican government forbid tourists to climb that pyramid no more. I was there before, I was there after. They don't want people to go on the top. They don't want engineers, physicists to come to measure and to prove that pyramids are actually energy machines. So it is very unfortunate. The same thing with Egypt. In Egypt, we have the most magnificent pyramids. We have perfect energy machines. 40 years back, when the Japanese geophysicists came. Egyptologists wanted them to find the hidden chambers and the mummy, which they never did. But what they did discover was that in the case of the second largest pyramid, Khafre's pyramid, the energy field changes every 10 minutes. They were so exciting. They said, hey, this is energy machine, energy field changes. Egyptologists threw them out of the country. They said, we didn't ask you to tell us this is a machine, but we want to find us the mummies of the 4th dynasty rulers. Unfortunately, that's a prevailing sentiment when it comes to the conventional science, but eventually people will realize that they want to know the real truth.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're sick and tired of lies. I know I'm talking for all our listeners. We're absolutely sick and tired of it. And the regular media just doesn't do it anymore. And we are realizing that a lot has been hidden from us and is being hidden from us. And, that's why I'm very thankful for people like you who are speaking out, doing things appropriately, really not hurting anyone, only helping humanity. And I would like this opportunity just to tell you, in my opinion, you're a true scientist, and there's nothing pseudo about you. And I just, my personal view is I don't even read the mainstream anymore. I really go for all my information to alternative sources, because those are the true sources a lot of times. And I'm really, really happy. I mean, there's so much more that I know and we could cover, absolutely. And I definitely hope to have you here again. I would just like to tell the listeners, please take the time to check out the website, drsamirosmanagich.com. You will find a lot of things you can learn, from books you could purchase to tours you can actually partake, and it will influence your life in a positive way, because also I'm talking from experience. Once you get sick with any particular illness and you just only turn to conventional medicine, you're basically out of luck a lot of times, and you have to look into improving your energy, improving your health, like Dr. Osmanagich said, through food, through energy. And I personally want to partake so badly in Bosnia, and I hope you get a lot more people who work with you. And we are a force in building. We just know that this is the future, and I just want to thank you for being the forerunner in the front of it and making it accessible to everyone, Dr. Osmanagich.
Wonderful. And like you mentioned, Tesla mentioned that the world is about the vibration. Everything around us is about the vibration. Now we have the pyramid water, and it vibrates very high. When we hate, when we are jealous, when we are violent, we vibrate low. However, when we are happy, when we have love for the whole world, we vibrate high. What is the purpose of our life? It is not in accumulating the wealth. It is about vibrating high, being happy, living fulfilled lives. And I think when people come to Bosnia, people come to the Bosnian Pyramids, they realize that fully.
I want to thank my guest, Dr. Samir Osmanagich. You're absolutely amazing. I hope we have you again on the show. Thank you for joining me this week. Please be sure to check out his website, drsamirosmanagich.com, and also tune in next week, as my special guest will be Ramona Rotariu, live from Ireland. Until then, Dr. Samir Osmanagich, thank you so much for this wealth of information, and I hope everybody becomes part of this great endeavor you're doing in Bosnia. And until then, everyone stay safe, stay strong, and remember, this is our reality and we're taking charge of it. Until next week, bye everyone.
You've been listening to Our Reality, hosted by Violeta Frankovic. Live every Saturday from the heart of Las Vegas, Nevada, exclusively on the KCOR Digital Radio Network. For more information on the host as well as the show, as well as upcoming guests, please check out our reality show page at kcorradio.com.
Our reality.
From the ordinary to the extraordinary, we've got you covered. Our reality, changing the world, one topic at a time. This is KCOR Las Vegas, home of the Digital Radio Network, broadcasting from a shack just south of Area 51.
Wait, that doesn't exist.
This is the KCOR Digital Radio Network. Now for the news.